Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to week 7 of my half marathon training plan. It is a slightly delayed start to the week as it is currently Wednesday, the 18th of February. I've not even recorded the outro to week 6 yet, everything is all but done for week 6. So again, I'm a teeny bit behind on some content, but welcome to week 7. Let's hopefully catch up this week. And as I've said that, I don't know if you remember, if you're familiar with the content of the channel, you'll remember back in week 2 or 3 that I was running with a little bit of a chest infection. That kind of came and went a little bit. It's been kind of semi-permanent over the past, since the second week in January. I'm just off a consultation with a GP online who suspects that I have bronchitis, everyone. So again, I've got an actual GP appointment for Monday, so that'll be into week 8 at this point, where I can actually go and have my chest and things listened to and whatnot. But the doctor on the digital appointment was fairly sure that it sounded like I had bronchitis. So there's a couple of trains of thought there. One, I've been running this entire time potentially with bronchitis, or at least something that's been going on. And two, should I continue to run this week even though that I've got an all but diagnosed chest infection? I don't know. I have found some of the runs over the past few weeks a little bit tricky in terms of coming to an end and whatnot, especially taking off. I don't know if there's maybe like a sort of juxtapose where I'm going from 0 to 100, where my body's trying to catch up whilst also fighting potentially bronchitis, where it takes me a while to settle in. But then again, is the overall running been, one of the reasons why it's maybe lasted longer than it typically has? I don't really know. And I've got 3 runs to do this week. I was planning on doing one today, but I'm not feeling up to it just because of what's, the conversation that I've just had. I booked that digital appointment like at midday because I was coughing quite badly today, and then I was on the phone with the doctor at half an hour later. So I don't think I should do any running today. So if anything, it's going to be quite a loaded weekend, or a loaded latter half of the week in terms of running, but we'll see. Anyway, potential bronchitis. I'm going to see how I feel tomorrow and over the next couple of days before I decide if I'm going to run or not. If I don't run, then I'm just going to cut this week out and then just continue from week 8 as I normally have. But again, I'll worry about that as and when I need to. Taking a week out of the plan is quite a lot in a grand scheme of things, but at the same time, it's potentially only a week. We'll wait and see. The doctor might say that I need to rest for a couple of days, but I just love running so much. And the 12k that I done last week kind of spurred me on to run a little bit more, and a little bit further. So anyway, potential bronchitis. I will catch up with you when I have decided to run or not run, and anywhere else in between. But yeah, today again is Wednesday the 18th. No runs as of yet, and potentially no runs at all this week. We'll wait and see how I feel. It is Saturday, the 21st, and it's just to say that I have, as of last night, been incredibly or strucken down with some sort of illness, and I don't know if I can do any running this week, this weekend, or this week. So week 6 or whatever we're on, I'm so unwell. Thought I'd come out a walk to try and get some fresh air, but yeah, it's looking a bit rough out there for this week. So I'll take stock later today, tomorrow, check in, but this week might be a bit of a write-off in terms of any sort of progress on the plan, but we'll see how tomorrow. Maybe I'll make a miraculous recovery and I can do one run, but I've got a plan in my head of how I'm going to tackle this moving forward. But yeah, not very well, really quite unwell. It's annoying, but we'll see how we go. So we are at the end of week 7. If you can't tell, just by the sound of my voice, I was, or have been, still am to an extent, incredibly unwell over the weekend, to the point where I wasn't able to do any form of running in any capacity, which was annoying. I shot random little bits here and there, and then I thought I'm going to do my runs over, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and some variation of that. So I never really shot anything prior to that, other than picking up some gels for the runs, and a few other bits and pieces. And then Thursday night came and I just started to feel really terrible. I had a bit of a sore head, a really bad sore head, and my throat was quite sore. Woke up on Friday and it was awful the full day. I was working from home, and then as soon as I logged off, done a couple of bits and pieces, I was in my bed for 7:30 roughly. I slept all the way through until 8 o'clock on the Saturday, woke up feeling the same if not worse. Had a bit of an early night on Saturday as well. Woke up on Sunday. My headache kind of subsided a little bit on the Sunday, but I've never had a sore throat quite like this. Every morning since Thursday, I've woken up and my throat has been progressively worse and worse and worse, to the point where it was, honestly, I've never experienced anything quite like it. It was awful in terms of sore throats. So yeah, I was just not fit. I was not able. I all the plans that I had for the weekend went right out the window. Not only in regards to runs, but everything else. So week 7, due to illness, has been a complete write-off, which is a bit of a shame. But at the same time, you know, if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. And I'm kind of happy it happened at this point in the training and not like the weekend or the week of the run. So that's quite good. How I'm going to move forward, I don't really know quite as of yet. I'm going to move into week 8 and keep those week 7 runs where they are. I'm not going to change those, so I've got 3 runs outstanding. I'm not going to bring those forward because I think it's going to be too much. And I'm just going to get started with week 8, not right away, because again, I'm not fully 100%. So maybe by Wednesday or Thursday of week 8, I should be back up to fighting spirits or fighting fit. And I can start week 8 with the 2 runs a week. And then as we get through March and closer to the April date, I can maybe start to slot in those missing week 7 runs as and when they should have been. One of them was a 14k that I was really looking forward to. Another one was a tempo run. And all that good stuff as well. So I do want to do them if I can, but I'm not going to force myself to force them into the plan overall. So worst case scenario, which isn't really that bad, week 7 is a complete write-off in terms of the training. Best case scenario, I can plot those random 3 runs in over the course of the next 6 weeks, up until the actual run date, and see how we go. Regardless, this week's vlog has been terrible. I don't know what you saw. I've not edited it as of recording this, but I just know based on what I've shot and how I was feeling and what I was able to do and not do, that it's not going to be a very entertaining watch. So if you've got this far, thank you for that. Tomorrow is the start of week 8, or today technically it's Monday, start of week 8. I've got a doctor's appointment, which I'll talk about in that vlog. So if you want to see that, check out next week's vlog. You might have remembered I was complaining about a chest infection, or what I thought was a chest infection, way back at the beginning of the training. It's kind of not went away. I'm going to the doctors for it. So if you want to see the outcome of that, you're more than welcome to check out. And then hopefully we will be back on track with the running. I'm a little bit behind with editing just because I was unwell as well. So I don't know what you've seen and you haven't seen at this point. But anyway, thank you for the support. It's been great. Subscribers have been going up. Engagements and comments and all that good stuff have been going up. Everyone's been lovely. So thank you all for that. Your support and lovely comments has really helped and really boosted me. And I'm really looking forward to the race when it comes as well. Long way to go yet, but it'll get here quicker than I realise. Quite a lot of runs in between now and then. So I'm looking forward to that overall. Anyway, if you're new here, you're more than welcome to subscribe. You can drop a like down below. And anything that I think you might be slightly interested in terms of like social media and links and all that, will be in the description, as they always are. Check them out if you want. You don't need to. It's entirely up to you. Thank you for sticking with me through week 7. Again, I'm on the mend, not fully there, but you'll see my journey for week 8 next week, and how I've kind of tackled those hurdles as and when they came. Anyway, have a wonderful week when it comes, and I'll see you next time for more half marathon training and all that good stuff. See you later. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to week 8 of my half marathon training plan. If you haven't seen the content so far, everything else is already up on the channel. Check that out if you wish. If you haven't seen last week's episode, I'm going to give you a very, very brief rundown. I was incredibly unwell last week. I could not do any of the runs. So week 7 was a complete and utter write-off in terms of running, in terms of exercise, in terms of the plan. But we're in week 8, and I've decided that I'm going to keep week 7 as a write-off as it currently stands. I had 3 runs to do last week. I wasn't able to do it due to a really bad illness from Thursday all the way until now, which is Monday the 23rd. I'm still not fully recovered, but I'm pretty much on the mend. So over the next day or 2, I should be, fighting fit and ready to run again. I'm not going to push it. I'm going to wait and see how I feel. I think I'm going to leave it until Wednesday at the earliest. But then again, I'm not going to try and squeeze 3 missed runs into week 8. What I'm going to do is just follow the plan as it laid out so far. 2 runs a week. This week is an 8km, then a 5km tempo run, which is nice and easy in terms of the overall plan. So that should be a nice ease back into things. My last run was just over a week ago, a 12km, which the short form is up on the channel. I felt really good about that, which is nice. I've missed out on a 14k and a couple of other runs, but my thought process is, if my plans are going quite well, And then I've got space in between the 2 runs for each week moving forward. I'll maybe try and slot in those missing 3 runs at some point over the next 6 weeks of training. We'll wait and see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Hopefully I can, but if we can't, then it's not a big deal. If we can, then excellent, fantastic. But yeah, terrible illness over the weekend. Really, really knocked me for six. I had like 12, 13 hour sleeps back to back, and it still didn't really do much. But again, the majority of it's gone. I've got a terrible, terrible sore throat as it currently stands. I've never had a sore throat like it, honestly. It is incredibly painful and incredibly inflammatory, and it's really, really bad. But hopefully I'm on the mend moving forward. But welcome to week 8. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into the swing of things. No need to cough there. So yeah, what I kind of alluded to in last week's episode is, if you've watched this series before up until now, you'll know that back in week 2 or 3, I thought I was running with a chest infection. So just to give you the Cliff Notes version, since the beginning of the year, or the second week in January, roughly give or take, I've had a semi-persistent on and off again sort of cough and tight chested, not necessarily tight or painful, but I've been very aware of it. It's been my breath or my breathing's been a bit wheezy. I've had like a sort of sensitive / again sort of very aware spot in my back. I wouldn't necessarily call it painful or sore, but it's been there, and again I've had a sort of on and off again cough for probably about 7 weeks at this point. So today, or last week, I had a sort of online consultation with a GP. He thought I had bronchitis. So I went to my GP today, and let me tell you, it's good and not good. Not good's not the word for it. It's just good and just fine at the same time. So top line is, he doesn't think I've got bronchitis. He just thinks that I've got a sort of viral infection that he can't really do much about, that it's just going to go away on its own. I asked, is it common for things to last 6 or 7 weeks? He went, it's not uncommon, but it's more so annoying, which is fine. But he done a range of different tests on me. So he listened to my lungs. I done like a peak flow test, my blood oxygen, my blood pressure, temperature, all that sort of stuff. And he was saying, in quite an impressive tone, that I've got a really healthy set of lungs on me, which is a bit of a relief, which is nice. Whenever something's wrong, especially your breath, and you hear things wheezing, you always think the worst. But yeah, you listen to my peak flow. He thought I might have asthma. I've developed asthma in my 30 years at some point, but no, my peak flow was off the charts. Again, my blood oxygen was perfect. My blood pressure was pretty much perfect, which is nice as well. So and my temperature was fine, so it's not a bacterial infection. I'm not a doctor. I don't really know this sort of thing, but I think if it's bacterial, you can get antibiotics. If it's viral, you don't, I think. Any doctors, let me know. But he was like, I don't really have an answer for you, I'm afraid. I just think you have, sort of an elongated, potentially back-to-back viral infection with a cold. You're out running all the time, all that sort of stuff. And he's like, yeah, it's just going to go away on its own. So I did ask, how long should I suffer with this potential thing? Because it's not, the illness that I've got at the minute that I've had over the weekend is separate to this stuff. This stuff's been going on separate in the past, and I had this doctor's appointment in the books for a while, or at least a few days before I got this whatever I got over the weekend. And he says if it's not gone by like another 2 or 3 weeks, maybe come back and we can do a chest x-ray. So it's currently Monday the 23rd, as I mentioned, of February. If it's not fully gone in some capacity by the end of March, I'm going to go back and just say, listen, I feel the same, or maybe I feel different. It's not fully went away. Kind of zap my chest a little bit and see what's going on. But, he didn't seem concerned, so therefore I don't really feel concerned. I trust the doctor, which is the way that it should be. So yeah, there we go. Just thought I'd give everyone a little bit of an update. Again, way back in week 2 or week 3, I thought I had a bit of a chest infection. It maybe affects me a little bit, but it's not stopped me from like running faster and doing PBs and running the fullest I've ever ran and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, he seemed overall quite impressed, dare I say, which is nice. He's like, as a runner, and I had a bit of a joke. I went, trying to be runner, haha. He was like, yeah, you're perfectly healthy, which is nice. So yeah, don't know what it is I've got. Maybe just a weird back-to-back thing, maybe because it's been so cold and rainy over the past 2 months or so, roughly, give or take, and I've been running outside pretty much 2 or 3 times a week. It's not really helped my condition in any way, shape or form. Maybe it's all coincidence, maybe it's just something that I'm trying to link in my head to make myself feel better and have some sort of answer. I don't really know. Anyway, went to the doctor today. That seems fine. I'm just getting over this weekend illness, which hopefully should be fine by tomorrow or Wednesday. Then we're going to have the first run of the week and the first run of like almost a week, 2 weeks at that point, maybe like a week and a half, which is mad. Which is an 8k and then again a 5k tempo run later on as well. If I want to try and catch up with week 7, I will, but at the minute I'm going to take that pressure off and I'm just going to focus on week 8. So yeah, there we go. My voice is fucked, my throat is fucked, everything's fucked, but I'm back, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling happy, and yeah, here's to feeling healthy, and I'm going to go take some vitamins, and that's where you'll see me next, maybe in Holland and Barrett, buying some new vitamins to take over the next couple of days. Anyway, doctor listened to my lungs. He's impressed. I'm feeling good. Could be feeling better. We're going to be running this week, I promise. So it is Wednesday, the 25th, and I'm still not very well. Tomorrow will be a week since I've caught this, whatever it is, and I know I kind of spoke about my sort of viral chest infection that I've had, and then I got ill towards the end of last week, hence week 7 being a write-off. Those are still very different, at least as far as I'm aware and as far as I'm concerned, and I'm still suffering quite badly with this additional illness or whatever it is. Don't get me wrong, I am better than what I was last week. I am almost there. And then every morning I wake up, maybe it's just part of also just getting up early and just being a bit sluggish in the morning, I don't know, but for the past few days I have not been feeling very well at all, and it's mainly my throat. It has been the worst sore throat that I've ever experienced in my entire life, and then subsequent to that, the worst cough that I've ever had as well, or had in the longest time either. And my voice isn't great. I mean, it's a bit deeper than it normally is, but here we are. So yeah, I've not done any running this week. I've not been able to. I've not been well enough for it, and I think if I even attempted to do it, it would really set me back. Again, I am feeling better. I am feeling better every single day. I'm just not quite there as of yet. But again, it's Wednesday the 25th. I'm on the Lemsip. I've just been taking regular painkillers up until now, but I thought maybe actually have some cold and flu stuff. And then I was in Marks and Spencer's today, and I thought I would pick up some lemon and ginger tea. I was going to get some lemon and honey tea, and then I saw those tea bags and I thought ginger's quite nice. I've also got some ginger shots. I've been influenced into buying ginger shots, everyone. They're very spicy. I never actually took any over the past few days because my throat was so sore and so raw that it was too painful to drink the ginger shots. It was too burny. But I may get back on those as of tomorrow. And again, I've got a little cup of my lemon and ginger tea so far. I've been at work all week, but I've not been in the office. It's been really, really setting me back and really, really annoying me, which is great and good fun, especially when you're training for a half marathon. So again, week 7 was a write-off. Week 8 so far has been a write-off, but I'm feeling confident that I should bounce back by the weekend, that I can get the 2 week 8 runs done over the course of the next 3 or 4 days. And then we'll go from there as well. But yeah, just thought I'd give you a very, very quick midweek check-in before I go to bed on Wednesday. I'm going to try and go into the office tomorrow if I'm feeling well enough when I wake up. And yeah, I'll kind of take it from there on when I'm going to run. I don't think it's going to be tomorrow. I'm not ruling it out, but I really don't think it is. And if I can't do it tomorrow, then the earliest run's going to be Saturday and then Sunday. But there's tons on. Anyway, midweek check-in. I'm going to finish my tea and I'm going to head to bed and hopefully feel a little bit better by the morning. But yeah, it's not amazing, but could be worse. So it was technically Monday the 2nd of March. It is the beginning of week 9, but I'm using this little sort of section here to round out week 8. And again, spoiler alert, I wasn't able to do anything for that week in terms of running. So that's 2 weeks now that I've been unable to do any running or any form of exercise just because I've been far too unwell, and it's been really, really annoying. I think I've not looked at the clips yet. I've not even edited. I'm 2 weeks behind, so I think I might just lump weeks 7 and 8 together since it's essentially 2 weeks and nothing. So apologies if the clips seem a bit random and a bit all over the place. Because if I'd done them individually, it would just be the same. Welcome to this week, and at the end, I've done nothing this week. I think I spoke about my doctor's appointment and how my actual lungs and things were, which apparently were through the roof, off the charts, which is great. But again, I still feel like I had a bit of a chest infection, and then for the past 10 days, I've just had a unrelated illness that has also had very similar symptoms that I think's going about a little bit at the minute. Again, I had the worst sore throat I've ever had, and I've just been so chesty and so coughy for the past however many weeks or however many days, almost 10 days now. A week and Thursday ago, I first came down with this illness, and today is the first day that I've actually felt pretty good. I've been progressively getting better over that time, but not well enough to actually do any running, especially long running that's supposed to be as part of the training plan. So yeah, I didn't want to, one, do it because I knew I couldn't, and then two, I also didn't kind of want to make myself worse and push myself back even further. So we've got 9, 10, 11, we've got like 4 or 5 weeks before the actual race. I'm feeling better now. I've got a day off tomorrow, but I'll talk about that in next week's video when you see the week 9. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a round out to say the past 2 weeks haven't been very successful. They have been a bit of a write-off in terms of actual training and running and all that good stuff. My diet's kind of went a little bit out the window just because I've been feeling a bit sorry for myself. But I feel like I'm going to be back in track as of next week. So apologies for the lack of content in terms of both the actual fun content in this video and the lack of short form content. My short form's actually up to date because I've not been doing any running, which is funny enough. But anyway, yeah, I'm feeling better, but I'm feeling a bit deflated that I've not been able to do any form of actual running outside, especially running outside, because I miss it. And I see people running when I'm out and about doing things, and I'm really jealous. Look at the length of my beard as well. My beard is an indicator of how unwell I've been because I've just been feeling sorry for myself for the past, again, almost 2 weeks. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've watched this far, thank you for understanding, and thank you for all the other bits and pieces in between. Thank you for all the support on all the other content and all that good stuff. The run's going to be fine. I know it's going to be fine. And we're going to get back into the swing of things as of next week, which is week 9. And we're going to go from there. Again, similarly to week 7, I'm not going to try and squeeze week 8's runs into week 9. I'm just going to consider them a bit of a write-off at the minute in terms of the plan, and then if I can manage to squeeze in extra stuff over the next 4 or 5 weeks, then I'll do that, and I'll let you know as and when that happens. But anyway, if you're new here, you're welcome to subscribe, all that good stuff. End of a rough 2 weeks for me there, but at least it came now before it, or rather than closer to the actual time of the race or the actual week of the race. That would have been the worst. But anyway, feeling pretty good. I'm feeling better. On the mend. I'm like 98, 99% there. And I'm hoping this week will be the week that I am fully back on the mend, which is going to be good. But anyway, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week when it comes. And I'll see you next time for more fun running. I promise there will be running in the next video. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.